Hello everybody, Laurie here from Unique in the Creek. Hello, hello. Say hello when you come in. Good evening, happy Sunday. Here in Canada, we have a long weekend this weekend, so tomorrow is civic holiday for us here in Canada. So happy civic holiday. Hello. So tonight I am going to, why am I not showing? Hold on. Hold please. Tonight we're going to do a new petal. We're going to do a new petal, my friends. It's kind of new. Yeah, it is new. Because I'm on this thing of wreathing on a budget these days. Okay? Wreathing on a budget because that's just the time we live in right now. So I am trying to show you guys how you can make your wreaths and get the best bang for your buck so that you can therefore make some money on selling your wreaths if you choose to sell them. So the petal I'm going to show tonight is just that. Wreathing on a budget. We are going to be using this eucalyptus color poly burlap. Now, this petal pretty much will work with anything, okay? I just picked the poly burlap because A, I had some in my craft room, and B, I wanted to make a really simple wreath with this petal, and you guys will be astounded at how it so much looks like a laurel. Do you guys know what a laurel wreath is? A laurel wreath is leaves going all the way around, okay? So what we're gonna do is mimic a laurel wreath with mesh, inexpensively, okay? You can do that, like I said, you can do this with any mesh. I had brought out, I'm using the poly burlap. Again, I did put all these SKUs for what I'm using in the description. I thought these two would be fabulous together. When you see what I'm going to do, keep these two in mind. One's an emerald green, one's a hunter green. Okay? Thinking Christmas with a big red bow. All right? Keep that in mind. So we would, maybe I will do this for Christmas. Not today, but we'll make a laurel wreath with just a big red bow, inexpensively. That will be on the next one. But I wanted to show you guys the emerald green and the hunter. If you've been looking for the horizontal wide stripe, we have more colors coming in. They should be in this week. So hopefully the color you're looking for will be in. I think the only color horizontal wide stripe that's not gonna be in is the red. Okay, so I'm gonna be using the ring board tonight. You can use any board with this, literally any board. Okay, what you're gonna do is we're gonna cut our mesh 6 by 10. Yes, 6 inches. 6. That's why it's called wreathing on a budget. 6 inches, my friend. Now this petal will be perfect for fillers, like if you need a little filler petal for your flower wreath. If you need a smaller petal for like your dragons and stuff. But I'm going to make a whole wreath with just this petal. Sorry, I don't... Oh, there's my comments. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, like I said, I'm using poly burlap. I'm not wood burning it. You can wood burn it. It depends how much the strings drive you crazy. You won't see the strings when we're done, the petal. But sometimes people don't even like to fold the petal if there's strings everywhere. So you can wood burn this if you want. I started wood burning it this morning and I thought, oh, I don't want to put in all the work when I can just cut it and nobody will see. Okay, so we're going to cut this 10-inch piece of mesh, or roll of mesh. I'm putting it on my 10-inch line here, and I'm going to cut it at 6 inches. So I'm just going to get my metal ruler. Okay, and 6 inches, is that the 16? So this would be good if you have 6-inch mesh. Now I'm not talking about 6-inch mesh from the Dollar Tree, because that will not work unless you quadruple it. But 6-inch burlap, which I'm going to be doing tomorrow. We'll be doing a thing tomorrow with 6-inch burlap. But if you get poly burlap, it almost looks like real burlap. Okay, so I'm just cutting 6-inch pieces just like this. Okay, my friends? Let me zoom down so we get the petal. And again, you can use this for any of our boards, this petal. Okay, so we have this 6-inch piece by 10 inches long. Okay, what you're going to do is I'm definitely going to have my little 4-inch zip ties, which we do now have on the website. Okay, and this one I'm going to be doing on the ring board. Like I said, I'm going to do a laurel leaf wreath. And what you're going to want to do on row 1 to the outside of the board, we're going to do a zip tie. All right, and then row 2 hole to the inside of the board, we're going to do a zip tie. So we're going to preload our board. And then row 1 to 1.5 is another zip tie. So every row will have 3 petals. Okay, every row will have 3 petals. There is 16 rows. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 times 3. So what is that? How many petals is that? We're not going to use a full roll of mesh. We're only going to, so 1 roll of mesh will work for this whole wreath, okay? So you're going to preload all your rows. And once you got that done, we're going to do the petal. So you're going to take a 4-inch zip tie. All right. Curl up. Your little 6-inch piece is curl up lengthwise. So it's 10 inches going this way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this top edge and just fold it down about a 1/2 inch. And if you have your cutting mat, you can see through the mesh, and it's about a 1/2 inch. It doesn't have to be precise, just guess. Okay, so 1/2 inch, and try and get as straight as you can. So I just hold the mesh down in the center, and I go to the left, and then I go to the right. Okay, so you have this little fold at the top. All right, now I'm going to put my mesh on my mat again, because I want to find the middle, which is 5 inches, because poly burlap is 10 inches long. Okay, so from here to right here is 5 inches, where my finger is. So I'm going to take this edge right here, and I'm going to fold it straight down. Okay. And then I'm going to take this edge and fold it straight down. Look familiar? We're going to bring this over. Take those strings off. So you got the 2 folds are going straight down the middle, and you're just meeting in the center with the 2 folds, okay? Then I'm going to fold it in half, just like that. I'm going to flip it over, and then about 1 inch from the center here, I'm going to bring it in, and then the edge, I'm going to pinch it and bring it in, And then I'm going to bring it in from the bottom and bring it in from the top. And there we have, and then I'm going to about 5 inches, 5.5 inches down. I'm going to put one of my little 4-inch zip ties. And there we go, my friends. We have a new petal that you can use 6-inch mesh if you want, or you can cut your mesh at 6 inches. Okay, we're going to do it again. So we'll snip this off. So I'm going to do this whole laurel wreath with 3/4 of a roll of poly burlap. Now what's nice about this petal is you can use the back side of it, or you can use the front side of it where you can see, it almost looks like a shell, right? You know how a shell goes in the center? It looks almost the same as a shell. Okay, well, let's do that again. Okay, so I cut my mesh 6 inches by 10. All right. I'm going to take that top. Now again, I start right in the center. It doesn't, just guess where the center is, to fold it down about a 1/2 inch, and I hold my finger there. And then I'm just going to press across to make sure that the factory edge here lines up. And then I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay. Fold it up at the top. I'm going to put it on my cutting mat again because I want to find the middle. If you don't have a cutting mat, you can just fold it over. Fold it over like this. Sorry, I think I'm going to be sick. And make a crease right there so you know where the center is if you don't have a cutting mat, okay? I'm going to take this edge, bring it straight down. You're going to then take the left one, bringing it straight down. Okay? So we all know the Star Trek petal. That's where I will show you. Good question, Carol. Hold on. So let's bring this in. Okay, I folded it over. This is I'm going to use this side, but either side will work. So I got it pinched in the center. Grab the top here about 1 inch, bring it in. Bottom, bring it in. Sides, bring it in. The other side, bring it in. Okay, and then we're going to get that little 4-inch. Don't adjust your petal until you have a little have a zip tie on the bottom, or an elastic band, whatever you're using. And then don't do it up super tight, because then you can adjust your petal if you need to adjust it so it looks uniform. So it is technically the feather petal, but half a feather petal, because we only used half a piece of mesh. And then I've been putting my zip ties around 5 inches. Okay, and then do it up. Now I'll show you why we're going to fold. You want to fold in the mesh. Okay. And I also wanted to show you, so this is an 8-inch piece that I cut. So I did it 8 inches in height, 10 inches wide. You see how much mesh we are going to waste by doing it 8-inch. So I've actually played with all the different numbers and different techniques and everything to do this, and 6-inch is the perfect dimension without wasting all of this. Okay, you can see the difference in the waste, right? So if you want a bigger petal, you can use the 8 inches, but you're going to waste a bit. Now, there was a good question. Is this 6-inch? Yeah. Why I'm folding it in. I'm going to show you why I'm folding it in, okay? So, if we didn't fold it in, let's find our center, where it's right here. So I'm going to take this edge and bring it down. Take this edge and bring it down. Do you see what's happening at the top here? And of course, because it's poly burlap, even if you wood burned it, you're going to have frays sticking out the top of your petal. It's not going to be nice and crisp like these ones. Okay, so even I'll flip it over, open it up, and it's raggedy up there. Hopefully you guys can see that. It's very frayed up at that corner. We don't want that. We want nice crisp petals. And that's not a crisp petal. So I found with folding it in a 1/2 inch, and then you can't use the other side, right? You can't use the other side because you see all these strings and everything. But you could use the other side if you fold it in. So I did all the work for you. I figured it all out. Let's do one more, okay? Going to definitely, let me cut another piece. I'm going to do a blue one. Okay, we're going to cut it. Make sure you line up your mesh. So square it up. All right, 6 inches. And this petal, I've already started a burlap one, and it is so pretty with burlap. So I'm just going to cut it at 6 inches. You can use, like I said, you could wood burn. I would still fold it on the top. I would still fold it even if you're wood burning, because you see the mess that it leaves. Okay, so there's our 6 inch piece. Let's just fold that center in about a 1/2 inch. Okay, there's the right side. Do the same to the left. And it doesn't take much to fold it in. Okay, then I'm going to find the center, which is right here. So I'm going to hold my finger and I'm going to take this edge and it's going to go straight down. Just like that. See how we're not going to have all this waste because we're going to zip tie it right about there. All right, now we're going to bring this one down and butt it right up against this one, this seam. Okay, just like that. I can't wait for you guys to see how pretty it looks on the wreath, okay? Once you have it like that, I'm going to flip it over and just line up the edges, and I make sure I line up the edges and we have a nice crisp tip here. All right, grab the bottom here and open it up like that. Take about 1 inch, bring it in the center. 1 inch, bring it in the center. Bring the top in, bring the bottom in. We're not going to adjust anything. I'm not even looking at it until I put my zip tie around. Now I'm not doing it up super tight because, oh, that's perfect. And I do the zip tie around 5 inches. All right, and then we're going to snip that off. And then we're going to snip this off. And there we go, my friends. A feather petal using half the mesh. Like I said, this is a great petal fold for filler petals where you don't want to use a whole bunch of mesh and you don't want the bulk. The wreath I'm going to show you tonight, we don't want the bulk because it's just mesh layered over top of each other. And like I said, again, I did something similar with my dragon, except I used a whole piece of mesh, which was, you know, that's kind of a waste when we can do it with a 6 inch piece, right? And like I said, we're going to do this whole wreath with less than a roll of mesh. And then you can use either side. So this one, see how it's got a nice crease, or a nice, it almost looks like a vein, or you can use that side. Tonight we're going to use this side. Alrighty, does anybody have any questions while you're watching on how to fold the petal? I got one more green piece here. I'll do one more time. Okay. Okay. Put my finger finger on the middle, and I put my finger there so I can't go past the middle. Bring that straight down. Okay, now we're going to bring that one straight down. Look how pretty. All right, we're going to fold it over, line it up. This is where you want to get your nice crisp. Now you can even make a dragon petal, and I'm going to look with a 6-inch piece, my friends. So if you know, you know. If you make dragons, you know that's a big thing because we're used way less mesh for that dragon petal than we did before. It's a little bit smaller, but if you're in a pinch and you need, you know, some filler petals, there you go. All right, pinch it in, pinch it in, pinch it in. Now I'm definitely putting little zip ties around the bottom for my stopper because they are small. They're only like a 5-inch petal. So from here to the zip ties 5 inches, I don't want them to slide out. Alrighty, we're going to cut the excess off, which is very much, that's all the poly burlap we're getting rid of. And there we go. So again, you can do either side. Okay, here it is with horizontal wide stripe, and I'll cut a piece and we'll fold it right now. So let's use a hunter green. Again, I'm just going to cut it with my rotary cutter. Yes, it can be used as leaves, or wait till you see when I'm going to show you the wreath in a few minutes. It actually looks like leaves because wreathing on a budget, the greenery coming, the florals soon coming out of China are going to be very expensive. So we're trying to do alternate things. All right, exact same thing, even though this is horizontal wide stripe. Fold it down in the middle. Bring your right side, your left side. Hello, everybody. Okay, I'm going to, now this is 10.5 inches, so I'm just going to put my finger on the 5.5 right there. Okay. Bring it straight down. Bring this straight down. So this, if you like this, the horizontal wide stripe is half the price of the poly burlap. It's just a little bit shinier. Okay, flip it over. Okay, making sure that point. There we go. Scrunch, 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 and there we go. Same petal. And like I was saying right at the beginning, I'm gonna have to do a Laurel one with the 2 different shades of green, so it'll actually really look like leaves with the hunter and the emerald. I do have hunter and emerald coming in. I know I'm out of stock right now, but all right, we're going to put zip tie right there. And again, same thing. Now this one is a little bit more, has a little bit more elasticity in it. So you'd have to just mold it a little more, but there you go. It works with horizontal wide stripe as well. Okay? Let us put this together. So like I said, you're going to use the ring board. Like, actually, you can use this petal for anything. I even put one on the cross here. See it on the cross? I was going to do 3 across in every row. So it just looks like leaves. And then I brought this. I have this amazing sign in the store. I don't think I put it on this description, but it's MD151710. There's 2 different ones, and I thought I'm gonna do each row with our little leaves, and then when I'm done, literally put this right in the center with the leaves going around, right? And then we also have, now I'm not gonna, if I did a cross, I wouldn't put a bow or anything. But tonight on the ring board, I am going to be using this white with eucalyptus ribbon. And I put the skews in there. And this is a sage striped, glittered 7/8 ribbon. So we're gonna do a simple bow for our laurel wreath, okay? Tomorrow, like I said, I'm gonna do it on the character board with burlap. Red burlap. All right, so once you have your leaves, all you're gonna do is, pardon me, or your petals, okay? Yes, we have the Amazing Grace. It's only available for Canadians, but I'm sure Craft Outlet or the Ribbon Shed or one of those have it. It's MD 151710, and it's got, we also have a brown one that's like this. This one's gray. Okay, so you're gonna load all your zip ties, and then once you got your petals, we're gonna insert them in. You're gonna put it right through the zip tie, okay, and you're gonna do this zip tie right after the little stopper zip tie, okay? And then we're gonna do the inside one. Now the inside one, if we do it right where the zip tie is, like the outside one, I don't know if you guys can see, but it's a little bit longer, okay? Because the circumference is smaller. So what I did is I just kind of pulled it down a bit until it was around the same length as this one. Just like that. And do the zip tie up. And then I'll just cut. You can leave that, but we'll just cut the excess off. Turn it around more so you can cut it, okay? Or just make, you can also just make petals that are, instead of 5 inches at the tail, do it at 4 inches, okay? And now we're gonna put the middle one on last, so it's gonna sit on top of these two. So slide it in. You're gonna do it right after that stopper zip tie. Once you got them all in, the 3 petals on the row, you're gonna cut your zip ties off, and you're gonna move on to the next one. And you're gonna go all the way around with your petals. So you can, once you have your mesh cut, you can do this whole project in your lap. And here's what we got so far. Doesn't it look like leaves? This is a laurel, it's called a laurel wreath. L-A-U-R-E-L. Isn't that cool? That's this little petal. And I still have mesh, and I've been using practice ones. So you only need 1 roll of mesh. How cool is that? Okay, so I am on my last 2 rows. Okay, so the last row is going to be a little bit tricky because we're going to have to lift up those petals to get the ends in there, but that's okay. It's doable. So again, I'm going to put the outside one in to the zip tie, and you can see how it goes around nicely in a circle without doing anything. You know, it's right, isn't it pretty? Very simple. Okay, again, this one's going to be too long, right? So we're going to pull it back a little into the zip tie, because if you leave it like that, you're going to cover this one. So we're just going to pull it back. So it's this, until it's about the same length as this one. Okay. And then the top one. We'll use this one. Just go in. This one is going to go right, you're going to do it up right before, or right after the zip tie stopper. Yes, I've done other Laurel wreaths, but this one really looks like leaves. It really does. That's why I was thinking doing doing a variegated one for Christmas with a big red bow. There you go. Cheapy cheapy. All right, so now we got this last row. Just gotta lift these up a little bit. Do the zip tie up. And as you can see, the petals overlap each other, so you don't see the board. Inner one. Now, if you were doing a Christmas one, you could put some berries amongst these with the zip ties and stuff, some red berries, and really make it look like a real leaf wreath. Okay, I'm just gonna leave that under there. It's not doing any harm. It's a little long, but that's okay. And then our last one. The center one right on the top. And do it up. And there we go, my friends. So I have 3 extra petals. So like I said, you can do it with any board. 3 extra petals and still a lot left. So it's less than a roll to do this whole wreath. Okay, so let's, oh, I have 4 petals. I love it. Oh my God, I love it. Look at that. It's like a perfect circle. All right, let's look at the back. Nice and neat, right? Let's put our hanging zip tie in. Just use one of these gray ones. So again, we do have the 4-inch stopper zip ties if you want to use those, or you can use rubber bands. You can also just slide it in and put a strip of glue over top. You just want something so you can, so in case, you know, somebody grabs a petal or something, they're not pulling it out of the zip tie. But no glue. No glue. Okay, we're going to do this up. And like I said, I'm going to keep it simple. I love simple. So I'm just going to put a simple bow with these 2 ribbons on the front. And there we go. So we got our hanger on. So that's the top. Nice and neat. Make sure you put your sticker for your business or your Etsy store or whatever. Get that on there. Free advertising. All right, that's it. So we could literally leave it like this. This would be so pretty in an oval as well. So an oval with all these. Now you'd probably need 1.5 rolls of mesh maybe for the oval, but wouldn't it be pretty with a big red bow coming from the top on the oval? Like a red velvet bow. That would be fab. Anyways, let's make a simple bow for this one. And this color as well, I was thinking of alternating the eucalyptus green with the smoke blue. You can use different colors, but again, I was going to keep it simple for our first attempt at this petal. Okay, so let's make a simple bow. Like I said, I'm going to put the bow just on the bottom, like right here. Okay, I could probably just use this ribbon, but I really like this one too, which is 7/8, which would go on top of that. But I'm really feeling of just just using this one, just one ribbon. What do you guys think? To grab a zip tie or a pipe cleaner. Should I use both colors or should I just stick simple with the one color? I'm trying to find a gray zip tie. All right, a white zip tie or a white pipe cleaner and locking everything over. Both, just the eucalyptus. I think I put all my, I put all my pipe cleaners away. Okay, let me run and grab a white pipe cleaner. Let me know if I should do both or just one. Look how pretty. Oh, I wanted to show you guys this. Look at this. I'll just leave that right there while I go get a pipe cleaner. So sorry. All right, I don't know where my pipe cleaner, my box of pipe cleaners are. So we're just going to use floral wire. Going back to the basics. Just going to use, I have these pre-cut floral wires. That's what we're going to use for our bow. Look, I know, isn't the, even on here, just on this circular one. Wouldn't that be great? So you would just have to put a cable mount here, and attach it. And you'll attach it like I'm going to show you in a few seconds. Both, we got all both, okay. Yeah, sorry guys, the cross is only available to the Canadians because it's made in China. So our American friends, Craft Outlet, the Ribbon Shed, and there's a few stores that actually carry our boards. So you can get your board and your mesh and your ribbons there. Okay, so I'm going to use this eucalyptus one, and I'm going to put the 7/8 inch right on top. And like I said, I want to keep it simple, so I'm going to do 14-inch tails. Yeah, why not? I'm going to do my tails first. And you can add whatever kind of bow you want to yours. But we're going to do each of these ribbons together. So I want to have a few tails coming up. No, I don't. So I'm going to put, I have the sage on top of that, the eucalyptus one. I'm going to come with the bad side facing up. And this is just how I make my bows. You can make it however you learned. Okay, coming around. I'm only going to do like a 5-inch loop because I don't want it overpowering how pretty the actual wreath itself is. Okay, so I'll give it a half twist towards me. And I'm going to come this way, again, 5-inch loop, half twist towards me. Another 5-inch loop. I don't know why I don't have these on my Thank you guys all for watching tonight. I was really excited. I was down here playing for a few days. When I'm stressed, I like to craft and come up with new things, and that's usually when I come up with new ideas is when I'm really stressed. That's pretty sad, I know, but lucky for you guys, I'm stressed a lot. All right, I'm gonna do one more. So I'm just doing 3 on each side, but it's technically going to be 6 loops. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to cut it so I have some tails going upwards. So I'm just going to fold it in half up here, and we're going to make tails. So you can also add, if you want like the tail look mixed within your bow, you can always cut pieces of ribbon. So let's do a 10-inch piece, dovetail it, add a little bit extra tails into our bow. 10-inch piece here. It will be soon, Carolina. You guys will we'll be posting it everywhere and sending out an email as soon as it's open. But yes, it will be open shortly. So anybody in Canada or in Ontario, I don't know if you want to travel all over the place, or upstate New York, you'll be able to shop in our warehouse. Okay, I'm just going to put this, I'll put extra tails right there. And we'll move them around. All right, then I'm going to take a zip tie, my norm, pull this whole thing off. Actually, no, I'm going to use this floral wire, remember? Keep it stacked. Push down in the center. Floral wire is hard on your hands. It will be open for shopping. I'm hoping by the end of next week. All right, there's our bow, which I didn't tell Tina Kelly yet. Okay, so there's our bow that we're going to put on. Let us grab our wreath. So we're not disturbing all the leaves, I'm going to go right through the mesh. I'm going to go through the mesh, and I'm going to go right here. So there's the center bottom. So 1, 2 over. That's usually my norm. And I'm going to go through the actual mesh with the wire here. And you can do that with a pipe cleaner too. And you can, if you slide the frame off the board, the table. Sorry, I'm thinking here. You can see the holes through. Okay, there's one. And here's the second one. All right, so there's the center, 1, 2. I just went in these 2 holes, give it a twist. Cut these off, and I'm going to push them back down the hole. Actually, that wire was pretty nice to put a bow on. Wow, especially if you're going through the mesh. Okay, so there's the top. So we're gonna open our bow. So I start from the back, loop it, unloop it. So this side has the green and then the eucalyptus. I'm gonna put this side the eucalyptus and then the green. It's a little bit long, this tail. Okay, and then eucalyptus, green. Eucalyptus, and then green. So I just opened both, and then we don't have the same ribbon next door to each other, okay? And we're going to do the same over here, except we're going to start with the green. Open it, open your loop. Oh, jeez. God, I hope I'm not getting sick. You could use an 8-inch or a 6-inch sign. And we have our tails just coming off our bow here. So we want to make sure our tail is curled. We've got one going this way, one there. Alrighty, let's fix the tails here, and then we'll be done. Dovetail the ends here. Wreathing on a budget. So you could recreate this a lot of times because we have a ton of ribbon left, right? We didn't use very much ribbon for our bow. All right, let's roll this up. Now I was thinking of just doing a, 2-looped bow to keep it really simple, but I think this works as well. Oh, I am getting sick, I think. All right. And that's it, my friends. That is our laurel wreath using poly burlap. So we're mimicking the leaves We made a simple, cute bow. Now this will match anybody's decor, pretty much. You could also use this indoors, put this on a mirror. I have a wreath on my mirror, and I love my wreath on my, actually it's a magnolia. So I have a magnolia wreath on my dining room mirror, and I love it. You just use one of those suction hook things, or the command hook, not command, they're suction. And yeah, you can put it, make it as home decor. And there we go. I'll fuss with the bow forever, so. Pretty. Kind of glad I used the both. So we got our simple bow, our leaves, our laurel wreath, and there's the nice neat back with our hanger. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that. Believe it or not, that little petal took me hours to come up with as I was sitting here playing, trying to figure out how to do petals for less the cost. So, you know, you don't have to use a whole piece of mesh. So if we did whole petals for this wreath, it would be very bulky, and you would be using more than one roll of mesh. Okay? This way, we use less than a roll of mesh, and you make it just as pretty, and it's not bulky. Obviously, it will fit between two doors. So, and there's no glue, so you don't have to worry about glue melting or anything like that. Yeah, there you go. Anyways, I love it too. Very pretty. So I will get some pictures. And so in the video, so you guys can see it. Again, you can put, I could put a cross right there. I could put a cross. See if I put the cross with the bow. But I really wanted to do it on the cross board, which I probably will one day, and have this just in the center with no bow. Just leave the petals and this. Pretty, right? Anyways, that's all I got for you. Tomorrow night I will be doing the character board. I'm going to do a Christmas one with the same petal, but I'm going to be using burlap, real burlap. Like the kind of burlap that you can get in Hobby Lobby, the 6-inch one. We're going to be doing red with a really cute Christmas vinyl. Alrighty? Thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Lots of things are changing, guys. I will be updating you guys as I know things changing. You guys all know what's going on in the world today, and we're in Canada, and most of you are in the States, so we're trying to figure things out. You know, pray for us and hope for the best and cross your fingers and that we can figure it out. The boards, however, have no problem. They are duty-free, and we can ship them all over the place with no duty, no problem. It's all this stuff. So, anyways,